This episode of the Conscious Salon podcast is brought to you by Revlon Professional Australia. Welcome back to the Conscious Salon podcast. We are doing a little bit of a rogue episode and we've got our co-pilot, Tay-Tay here.
Hello.
And Tay, for anyone who
all of us.
We've always got you here, girl.
It's always got you.
But I didn't announce myself. I could be like,
welcome, Nikki.
It's Nikki
Welcome,
and
Taya.
Tess. It's the same people that you trust to be on this episode every single week.
That's
But
right.
Tay-Tay, can
Tay-Tay.
you, for those people who don't know who you are,
Yeah.
can you give us a little intro?
I
didn't write you an intro.
I should wait. You do yours, and I'll add to it.
Okay. So I work with Nick and Tess at Ahead. I manage their salon in Bentley, and I also work with Conscious, which is so exciting. We are a little tripod, and I'm just so grateful to have all the opportunities that I do. And I just
Tay-Tay's massively underselling herself.
I don't know what to say.
So, Tay has been with us for a decade.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
We're actually 20 years together. But we've had, we can't work out exactly how long, but many happy years together.
Yeah.
So Tay originally came to us way back in the day. You were actually our second team member that we'd ever had. Or third,
baby.
actually.
No, second.
No, third, because then we got rid of one
No.
not long after.
No, Tay was our second.
Were you there? Oh, anyway.
Either way.
She was our
Early
second.
in, yeah, which was such an incredible thing. But yeah, you were literally a little baby when you started.
Oh.
And Taya has truly been such a driving force of us being able to do and operate and show up the way that we do is through, I truly think we have learned so much from you and like gotten so much more conscious as like humans, as leaders, as like visionaries because of the way that you've like truly shown and taught us so much. I actually remember, I think you were like still an apprentice and quite early into your apprenticeship. And I was like, your manager.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember you calling it really early. And Tess
I
was like,
did.
yeah, I can see.
I
the
was like,
leadership in
yeah, manager. She's our leader.
her. You did.
And you've and then we've had you also step into the Conscious Salon as well. So Taya is not only leading our team and truly like a visionary with it. Like as much as you say you run the salon for us, you run the salon.
That's your
period.
team.
That's 100% your team, your work. That salon has really become your space. And now getting you in for the past year in Conscious, where you have been supporting our group container with their teams, with motivating our one-on-one clients and their teams, with adding in your perspective, with facilitating with us, with breath, with retreats, with all of the goodness with being here today.
I know.
With the podcast. She really is just, we are able to work the way that we do because of you. So that's what she really is to us. She's our wing woman. So we're very, very grateful.
Thank you.
But Tay-Tay, we wanted to get you on the potty to talk about something that's been on our mind a lot recently, and we're really noticing a trend in the industry, and it's about control and salon owners wanting to control everything.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about this yesterday, you gave a really interesting perspective. Do you want to share what happened yesterday?
Yeah, so we were talking about the episode and we're talking about control and how it's been playing out in a lot of salons. And I just thought it's very interesting because a lot of people see you guys and see how you live your lives and you have the freedom and the flexibility and be able to expand and grow and do all of these adventures, but they're not seeing how you've changed and adapted your leadership or how you have just trusted in me and the girls so much to be able to allow that growth. Because if you were still as hands-on in the business, like you're obviously still in the business but still doing all the back end things and all of those things, how are you expected to grow or have the time to be able to do this, next chapter of your lives? So I think it's really interesting that business owners want this, but they don't want to let go of that.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about yesterday. It's like it comes up everywhere. It can be micro things like, being the first person that you talk about on your website and that there's like a big photo of the salon founder.
Yes.
It can be minor things like really leaning into when a client says like, you're the only one who knows my hair, and really playing with that and not actually boosting your team when you have the opportunity to.
Absolutely.
It can be that person only wants to see me. That's like such
It can literally be like no one can make the teas as well as what I do. Like the way that I make a cup of tea is more special than anyone else.
Yeah, but I'm trying to speak to those salon owners who may not necessarily recognize it and be like, oh no, I'm not controlling. And they want the freedom and flexibility, but they want to, that client only wants to see me.
Yes.
I'm the best person to teach my team. I'm the one that's going to all the courses, right? And then I'll come back and teach my team because I'm too scared to make a financial investment in them in case they leave. So we started to really unpack this, and then we were talking about how we see it play out in the industry. And then Tay did share with us how you guys were once upon a time versus how you are now.
Yeah.
And we said, that's what we need to talk about. So Tay, I want you to be as candid as possible. I don't want you to hold back, and I don't want you to try and spit out a polished version. I don't want you to try and spit out a polished version.
Yes. Yeah.
I want you to talk about the really challenging times of how we used to lead.
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the how we lead now.
Definitely. I think especially because I was so young and so new to it, I had no idea what I was doing. So I was like, this felt right. And I think for the time it was definitely the right thing, and I needed, a bit more support. But there was definitely times where, you're like, oh, I'm going to get you to do the ordering. But when you do the ordering, I want you to send it through to me so then I can double check. And I think there was so many things where I had this response. It almost felt like here's this ownership of something, but then also I'm going to take it a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like, I trust you, but I only trust you this much.
Yeah.
So I think especially being so young and trying to grow my own confidence and self-trust and everything, I think it was like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back sort of thing.
100%.
And I noticed that when I was in that time, I would almost be trying to think of what you guys would be doing, but not think about what it was intuitive to myself.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I think I should do this. But I'm like, oh, but would Nikki do that? Or would Tess do this differently? Instead of just going, no, this feels right to me, which is where I'm at now with where our relationship is and how much, you guys have helped me grow and how much I have grown personally. But yeah, it was just like the little things that you guys weren't ever controlling. Like you definitely gave me a lot of room. But I think in the way that we were, I think especially because I was the first manager in your salon, we were developing the role together. It was always changing. It was always flowing and moving. It was kind of sometimes it was like, well, where do I kind of fit in?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I would
It's so
say
hard to-
disempowering is the word that I think about. It's like giving you that. It was so boundaried, like now that I think about it, giving you that responsibility, but with the boundaries.
Yeah.
Here's the square that we want you to sit in. Not teaching you to listen to your intuition and trust yourself. And really it was disempowering of like when you said the ordering thing, I was like, oh my God, I remember doing that. Just send it through to me so I can proof it beforehand. Like fucking Nikki, do the order yourself, Charles.
Realistically, what we were doing then is being like, do an order, then like pretty much just write it out. And then we'll do the rest.
And then we'll do it. And then we'll
and that was
point
all
out where you didn't do it
auto-generated
right.
anyway. So it was just
That's it.
ridiculous.
Click the button and then send it to me.
Well done. It's definitely good. I think when I think back to those days, from my perspective in terms of leadership, I feel like I was like, yep, like I'm going to give you a title and you're going to do amazing, but I'm also going to like be right next to you and watching, and like anything that, you say that I don't agree with, I'm going to like, that was the part that I saw where I was like, let's do it like this though instead. And you'd be like,
yeah, okay.
And I'd be like, yeah, good job.
Yeah.
It was like, so you didn't have any of that. It was truly that like, I know that we were micromanaging you and we were trying to like show that we were giving control, but we actually gave nothing. It was like, yep, you've got, like, I truly felt like we gave you a title and a space where we'd have meetings, but it would be like, I've got this idea. No.
I don't even think we had regular meetings.
We did not have meetings.
No.
It's really interesting because when this came up yesterday, and you're like, we want to talk about how it used to be. I think like obviously with how we are now, I was like, oh God, like what was it like? I couldn't even remember. But it's interesting because you guys are always so supportive. You always really built me up. And it was like, it wasn't like this whole negative experience. And I think this is what people think about when they think about micromanaging and like not empowering your team. It's not that you're just beating them down the whole time and they're having a terrible time, but it's also not giving them the opportunity to grow as a person and into their role fully. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's huge. I think a lot of salon owners will be listening to this, or even team leaders will be listening to this being like, oh yeah, that's the situation I'm in.
Yeah.
So how did it feel for you, Tay, to have that sort of setup for like at the time? How did it actually feel for you?
For myself, I think it was really good to have a lot of support because I definitely did. Like we were a tripod. We worked with everything together. But then I also feel like I was almost a little bit lost into like doing things, but then also being like, oh, I've got to like double check with this, or should I just, sometimes things would happen when you guys went in and I'm like, should I just take control or should I message, or
Totally.
I don't want to
do?
I don't want to be, like they're not in here. I don't want them to feel like they have to be in here, but then I also don't want to make the wrong decision and then go from there. But yeah, it was, but also like on the flip side, like we talk about it all the time. I'm like, I didn't feel like it was a bad experience at all.
Just like, Taya, what do you want for lunch? We're going to do a big order.
I really appreciate that we've had the time to heal this in terms of working together again.
Yeah.
Because when you left and moved to Queensland, so much of me was like, especially when we redeveloped, like we made the course The Conscious Leader and we rewrote everything and got so much more intentional, I guess, about the role. Yeah. And I really had a realization when you're in Queensland of like, fuck, we did this girl dirty. Like we did the best we could with what we had at the time,
of course,
but we could have done it so much better. And I'm so grateful that we've had the opportunity to heal that because when you came back to Melbourne and we said, do you want to go back into leadership? We had an opening for leadership.
Yeah.
You actually initially said no.
Yeah, I did.
Why?
I did. I think personally myself moving, I had gone through a lot in that 3 years. I think I lived in about 8 houses and moved states and lived in a van and all the things. So I think at the very time when I first moved back, I was like, I'm not mentally ready to be looking after anyone else but myself. I really need to just, get back in tune with myself, really work out where I want to be, what I want to be doing, and, find my passion for hair and being in an environment like that again. But also I was just like, what will this look like? How will I think because I wasn't in a great place mentally, I was like, how can I then support you guys and also support a team and, then be there for everyone else?
I'm so glad that you touched on that because I feel like it would be fair to say like you were fully in burnout.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
You came back and you were fucking knackered.
Absolutely.
Like, I remember us having the first like couple of months, it was just like, don't worry about anything. We're just going to like keep rebuilding. We're just like, honestly, because you'd be like, oh, I need to do this and this and this. And like, it's like, girl, we're not fixing anything. We're just going to like, your body needs to catch up with like what? Because you'd had a massive couple of years traveling around, you were, I just had a flash of you working in the food delivery business. One day, Taya, we were doing I think we were on FaceTime or something, and you had your phone set up, and it was you had to give like 6 beeps or something that was letting them know, like they were like, it's Taya with the sandwiches.
It's Taya with the party pies downstairs.
Just think you did such a like massive like, which is amazing for growth, but then having that like, you really did like you needed that time to like heal and let your body catch up with your brain catch up with your body. But I remember saying to you like, we're going to be looking for a new team leader. Like, do you want to do it? You were like, no.
I think I was like, if you guys really want me to, I will.
Which is super inspiring. So inspiring. I'm going to be like, yes.
But it was a really great invitation to look at like, okay, why was that? Like, obviously, there's so many factors in this, but it was a really good invitation for Tess and I to look at, like, and we really said to you, this role is going to look so different this time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even just coming back as a team member, and I think that was a really good transition for me, coming back, being a team member and seeing how the things were changing and like what it would really be.
Yeah.
And like where I would take ownership, where we would work together, where, I really fit into it.
Yeah.
So I think, and seeing all the structure and things that had changed and how seamlessly things had already gone through and having the time, I was like, okay, I think I can do this.
We'd learned our lesson. We'd lost her once. We're going to do that again. But I think even with that, like you are such a natural born leader. Yeah. So even though I even was watching it in the salon with how much it would like shift out, like even with you coming back and not being in that role and like declaring like I'm not, there was still the team that was like, Taya, what should we do? What should we like? And you were really stopping yourself being like, oh no, someone else.
Not my problem.
But with that, and I also want to talk really candidly, which I know we have before, but like when Taya left, we had differing responses. So Taya let us know, I reckon it was like, what did you say, like 8 months
I think it was like 8
in
months
advance?
notice.
8 months notice. But I was like, this feels like not enough time.
And we had really different responses. You know, Nikki was like very emotional and was like, oh, wow. I think you actually said to Tay, like, I just need a second, which was, I also think was the right thing. So that you took
we
a
talked about that
moment.
on a podcast episode and Tay
I
actually,
know.
she came in. How did you feel hearing that?
I was actually on the tram on the way to a course. And I think at the time I was definitely like, I think I was just a bit shocked, but
Yeah.
I was also, I think I didn't deliver it very well either. But I was so anxious, like so
Yeah.
anxious because I didn't want to let you guys down. And I was just like, I didn't want you to think it was you. And I think I was just in my own head about it all. And then it happened. And then I remember leaving your house and I walked downstairs and I called Josh in the car. He's like, how was it? And I was like, it was good. I don't know how I feel. It was like, it was all the emotions, but it was like a breakup.
Yeah.
It was
funny because
if
Nikki
not worse.
responded receiving the breakup, whereas I was like, you're not leaving.
denial.
And Nikki was like, are you understanding? I was like, yeah. She said 8 months. I was like, I'll change her mind. But it did. But then when you did actually go, that day I was like so shocked. And like I truly think like in mourning, like I remember Taya's last day, I like couldn't speak. Clients were like, I don't know why I was on the floor. I should not have been working on clients.
Physically on the floor.
Being declared a public holiday.
But it was like, I like literally Taya was peeling me away from her as like to get out the door because I was like, oh God, it was a real moment.
It's very dramatic.
But we learned so much. And I think that was where we could actually take that time and reflect of like, cool, what do we need to change? How do we need to, and it was never with the intention of getting Tay back. It did, naturally happen the way that it should have. But with that, it was never about that. It was just recognizing, wow, we did not set this girl up for success.
Yeah.
Which is why it didn't work. And I think what we had is really, and losing ego and actually sitting in that self-audit of like, cool, if it was all perfect, I mean, I get travel and I get all of these things, but there also would have been part of you that would have been like, yep, I don't want to do this anymore because we had not set you up for success. Like it was not a fulfilling role. Whereas now with how we've pivoted and, we have that transparency and that trust and that, and I want to acknowledge that it is because we have like a true sistership and, deep, we're best mates as well. But we can flip between those roles and have them being effective and productive. Because even from when, I've been team leader versus you, I cannot do what you do because of the way that, and acknowledging that and recognizing and celebrating that. I feel like there are so many owners who think that they are the ones that can do everything perfectly. They're the most talented. They have the best client connections. They have their best way of looking at everything. And I'm here to humble you guys because I thought that and I was wrong. And the reality of this is our salon is more effective, like profitability-wise, like productivity-wise, like with how the girls are motivated, inspired, like the alignment, the culture, because we have someone in there who embodies that better than what we do.
Agree.
And it goes down to like truly now with it, I look at ahead and I'm like, I own it and I get to support the team, but the talent, the culture, everything else is a credit to you and the team because that's what you guys create in there.
Agreed.
And it's trusting that and creating that foundation between us where truly letting you step into it rather than, I honestly feel like when I think of it back, it's like, if you were going to go and move something, I'd be like,
you summed it up with the ordering thing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a douche. Tay, before we wrap, I want to end on some fire things, like some like fast action steps. So we're going to give 2 fast action steps that a salon owner could take who's listening to this going, oh, fuck, that's me and I really want to change. And I want you to give 2 fast action steps to a team member who's in that position of being micromanaged, but they've just like had the realization that that's them.
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. Tess, you do one and I'll do one. I'm going to say one of the most powerful things that I changed about my leadership when we were putting you into this position and to swap the micromanaging. When you came into me with a problem, and we teach our whole team to do this, we always train our team to be solutions focused. So if they come in with a problem, they also have to be coming to us with at least one solution that they see fit.
Yep.
So it trains our girls to come up to us and say, hey, I'm just letting you know that we have this bottleneck. However, the way that I best see fit for this is X, Y, Z. And all of them do it, and they're still refining it and still getting better at it. But we really encourage them to do that. So the best tip that I could say is sit down with your team leader and actually have a conversation around, I am going to be asking you to come in with any problems. You're going to be coming in with a solution as well. And when you come to me with a problem, I'm going to ask you, what do you think you should do? And that's something that we say every single day.
Always.
Tess?
I love that. I think what really changed for me was not just saying what I thought and like how I thought things were going to be, like actually sitting with my team leader and having a conversation around what you thought. Because what I realized in this was that what I was seeing and the experience that I was having with team is very different to what was happening day to day and the reality of it. And I always go back to that thing of we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should be doing twice as much listening as we are talking. Sit with your team and work out, your team leader, and work out what it is that they see is going to be the best way to move this forward. I
love
think that's a really important one.
I feel like for team leaders, I feel like the major thing that I hear, especially working with a lot of the girls in our container, is getting really clear on what their expectation is on both sides. So having ownership over your role and really getting clarity around what's your responsibility, what's, your boss's responsibility, and, how much you guys want to collaborate on things or how much is ownership of you and how much you can run with things. Because I think once you do that, you have so much more confidence in doing an order or, having a conversation with a team member or that sort of thing. Because I think sometimes things will come up and you're like, oh, should I talk to them first? Should I not? So I think getting really clear on what
the boundary.
Yeah,
really good.
absolutely.
I love that. That's such a good one.
I love that. Guys, this is huge. I think this is going to be really pivotal. And if you're feeling something come up right now, if you feel a bit triggered or if you're feeling like, oh shit, this is me, know that once you acknowledge something, you can make those changes and to really empower your team leader to be that person who can own the team. Like Tay says, my team, my salon, like she really does take that ownership of it, and it's incredible and that's available to you guys, but we have to be willing to loosen the reins and be willing to really shine the light on our team. So
Absolutely.
Tay, can I just ask one more really quick one because I know we said 2.
Of course.
What about for a team member who wants to become a team leader who may not already be in that role? What would be one piece of advice that you give them to put themselves forward?
I think shoot your shot. Like have the conversation with your boss and say, this is something that I want to get into. If I'm not ready now, what can I do to prepare for me to get into this role? Where do you see where I'm at now? Where do I need to grow? Where do I need to improve? What do I need to do to be able to get this? Because if you're hungry enough, then you'll go and do what you need to. And I think sometimes you might not be ready in the moment, but it may just be small tweaks to be able to get to that spot.
Yeah, it plants the seed.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Oh, stunning.
thank you guys. Thank you, Tay for sharing your
you.
beautiful brain. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Conscious Salon podcast.
Love you guys. Stay conscious.